everybody. I'm so excited to see you here today. I'm Nikki Baxley, and today we are going to talk about vellum. Vellum is a little bit finicky and sometimes difficult to work with, so a lot of times we just put it back in our drawer and we don't use it. So today we're going to get it out, and I have stumbled upon a use that I've never seen anyone else do, and it has rapidly become my favorite. So I'm going to take you through 3 ways to use vellum, but we're going to focus on this new technique and see what you think. I think you're going to love it. So don't forget to hit the like and subscribe, and we'll get right in this video. Hi everyone. Today we are going to make a card that shows us 3 different ways that we could creatively use our vellum. So it's one card, but lots of uses. We're going to use this really cool embossing folder, which I love because it has a heart in the middle, and then it also has stuff on the outside. So you could just emboss it like that, which would be great. Or you can use the heart that comes with it and cut out the middle, which is what we're going to do today. So this may seem counterintuitive, but with me, I like to go ahead and cut the shape before I put it in the embossing folder because I don't want to send this through a die cutting machine and have it flatten out that embossing. So I'm going to go ahead and cut the heart, and then I'm going to carefully place the heart inside the embossing folder. So once I've done this, so this is vellum that I'm using. This is sold on Honeybee's site. This one is actually the Hero Arts vellum, and it is nice quality and good thickness. I think you would really like it. Let me get everything out of the way, and we're going to carefully put it inside of this embossing folder. Now, when you're embossing with vellum, I know that we have some other videos on here, you need to be extremely careful. It is a delicate paper, and you can rip it with the embossing folder if you use your normal sandwich. So I didn't use my normal sandwich. I used one plate, the embossing folder, and then I just slowly added different pieces of scrap paper. So I think I ended up with 4 pieces of scrap paper and ran it through. And so you'll see I got an impression, but it didn't rip up the paper. When I sent it through in its regular embossing sandwich, it did cause rips in the paper. Now, what the technique that we're going to do, it probably doesn't matter if you get a little bit of cracking in your paper because we're going to cover this up and add gold highlights. So don't worry about it if you do get some cracking. Okay, now here's what I mean. So we're going to use some Lunar paste. This is gold rich is the color. And I put on gloves just because Lunar paste is a little hard to get off of your fingers and everything. So it's kind of nice to do it with this. I am doing a very light touch and trying to add this only to the raised areas. So you don't want to go in and press and mess up your vellum. You just want to lightly touch it. And if you have too much on your finger, really start off slow or you'll get a big area of that gold. But this is a way to, 1, cover up mistakes on your folder, and 2, if you love using vellum, I love the addition of texture it has with being a little bit more lightweight than using other papers, and you want to add something extra to it, this is the way to add these amazing gold accents. So I'm just going to go in with very light amounts and try to touch those areas that are raised. Because this is a 3D embossing folder, there will be different levels, so you can't just like run your hand over this. You need to take each element separately because some are taller than others. They are more, that's why it's called 3D, because there's different levels of the raised area. So you want to kind of go over everything, and then I go back, and some of them that aren't raised quite as much, I go in very lightly and touch them so that the detail shows up but don't get as much gold on them, and that just really adds to the effect. So like in the middle right here where I'm touching those are a little less raised. See how the flowers get more gold on them? It's because they're raised up a little higher. So you've got lots of options, and if you get a little bit of gold on the background, it doesn't matter. It looks great. It looks so fun. I hope that you'll try this technique out because it is so fun. So if you don't have gloves, you can do this with your fingers. You're just going to need to wash your hands immediately because it dries pretty quickly, and it's a little bit hard to get off if you don't get it off of your fingers quickly. Same thing for mats, sticky mats. This mat that I'm using from Waffle Flower,
All of these are kind of like non-stick mats, but this stuff dries fast. So you're going to need to scrub it a little bit, soak it in some water to get it off. It does come off fine, but it takes a little bit more work than something like an ink. So other reasons that I use this gold, I mean, besides the fact that I just love the way it looks, it's really a practical application. And if you haven't seen my other video that I just did for honeybee stamps, it's a great way to cover up your adhesive. So one of the problems with vellum is it is often hard to stick it down without seeing the adhesive through it. So these darker areas of gold allow me to put some glue or double-sided adhesive, and it's less visible. Right now I'm kind of going over the edges because I don't like to leave a raw edge. I like that edge to look gold. So you'll see I kind of go around the whole thing and continue to add. And you can add as much or as little as you want. But that's another reason to use vellum and to have something else on your vellum so that you can hide your adhesive. There's a lot of other ways to do that, and there are some adhesives that are very barely visible, but me as a type A person wants it to be not visible at all, and this is a great way to hide it. Okay, I'm going to zoom in on this even more so you can see how these details are kind of coming alive while I put this on there. And you can see I told you I was going to do the edges. I like the edges to look gold. So I'm adding a little bit to that outside edge. And the way that this cuts out from the embossing folder, it leaves a little flat edge on the side where you use that die. I love that they have a die that goes with an embossing folder. It's so fun, and it gives you lots of options of different techniques that sometimes you forget about with embossing folders because you just think of using them in their regular rectangle form versus using some shapes and making a fun little cutout on your card. So once this is dry, I can apply some adhesive to the back. You could do this a lot of different ways. I like to use a double-sided sticky adhesive, and I'm not going to be super careful with it because the gold really hides it. So I'm going to cut a couple of pieces and apply them to the back, and you don't want to press on it so hard that you're pressing down the wonderful embossed area. Just put it so that it fits, and I'm going to add two pieces, and you'll be able to see these for a little while, but you're going to notice on the final card how much they disappear. Next, we need to decide what color background we're going to use. I've already done the lovely layers, so I did these a little bit lighter pink than my previous card because I wanted to look at them with backgrounds and because I have gone through assembling these in my previous video for honeybee stamps. So I don't want to redo that. I want to show you more of our options of adding different things. So this is how I do it. I go through paper pads and I hold my project up and try to decide. I think the green would be a great option, but I end up deciding on this something really dark like this. And I settle on this brown, which is not a normal background color for me, but I really love how it looks with this. Now, if you know my style, you know I love perfectly coordinated cards. So we're going to use that same gold that we used before. I'm going to make sure I don't have a big blob on my hand, and I'm going to go around the edges. Let me zoom in for you so you can see what I'm doing. As I get started with this, I'm just really careful with it, trying not to add big blobs and make my line too large. Then I get a little bit more courageous and start adding more at a time. But you just don't want to create too much of a big blob. So just running your hand along the edges like that creates this beautiful gold outline, which is so beautiful on the card. Okay, here it is again. So I flipped the paper and I'm doing another side. And then, like I said, getting a little bit off if I need to and just running my finger along there. Now, it doesn't have to be a solid line. It kind of looks cool when it's wispy and there's just parts that are a little bit thicker or thinner than the others. It just looks really nice. I even played with adding this lunar paste a little bit to the leaves just to give them a little bit more excitement. I don't think it ends up showing up a whole lot in photography, but when you look at this on the card, it looks so beautiful because the edges of the leaves have that beautiful gold look to them. Now to build the final card, we've got our base that we added the gold to. We got our beautiful vellum with its gold accents. And then we have the lovely layers roses. I cut these apart. So remember, you can always do whatever you want to. I thought it looked better with some roses on both edges. And so I cut some of the leaves and the roses apart. If you wanted to make this more full, you could add another set. But I thought that I really liked the extra greenery around the top and then having the two roses and a little bit of greenery on the bottom. Now look how perfectly this sentiment fits. It is such a cute one from the lean on me or lean on each other. Thank you for the way that you care. How amazing is that? Now, I promised you weren't going to be able to see the adhesive. And look, I took the backing off the adhesive, which is just double-sided adhesive, and you cannot tell at all. It's pretty amazing, and I think that gold helps kind of cover it up, but it's just like it's awesome. I'm so excited about it. Okay, the last thing that I did to this card, because of course if you know my card making style, you know that I like all the details, just as many details as I can fit on there. Sometimes I probably go a little overboard, but I'm adding a piece of double-sided adhesive foam to the back of this. And the reason I'm doing that is because we're going to wrap some metallic thread around this, and it just makes it easy to stick. You could use a piece of tape on the back as well, but I love to use the foam just because it's already sticky and I can add my thread to it. And I just think adding that metallic thread just really ties in all these cool metallic elements, and it's so easy to do. So I just added a little bit of that, and then I'm going to show you the final card, but I wanted to also mention to you that all of the things that I used in this video will be in the description of the video and linked there. Those links do help me out as a creator, so I would love it if you click on those if you're going shopping today. Also, you will find more videos on the Honeybee channel about this new release. Make sure and go check those out and hit the like and subscribe on the Honeybee channel. They have awesome products, and I think you're going to love all of the videos that we worked so hard on. I just love how this turned out, and I'm going to show you just moving it around in the light so you can see all of that wonderful gold and how it picks up the shining light. It's a little harder in photos sometimes to get that, so I wanted to show you up close. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you hit the like button, and I would love to see you again back on the channel. Have a great day. Bye.